LA reminds me a lot of Egypt, actually. I'm like a kind of, outdoor person. I like to go out and do things and just like see new things. And you can see new things all the time. So I think it's pretty great. Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Here in LA, Koreatown edition. Today we talk with Sara of Ktown. Sara was born in Egypt and spent years living in Qatar before moving to Koreatown. Yes, Qatar, where they're holding the World Cup right now. So of course I ask her about life in the Middle East, what things are like for women over there. We even compare the price of nice apartments over there to the nice apartment she's in right now. And you might be shocked when I ask her how Koreatown matches up with Cairo and Qatar. So sit back and enjoy Sara. Hey everybody, I am here in Koreatown with Sara. You are from Qatar?
No, I'm not. I'm actually from Egypt. And I lived in Qatar for 10 years.
Wow.
I was a pharmacist there. And yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask some questions that are going to seem very ignorant, and that's because I'm an ignorant man.
That's okay.
I was told in the Middle East, women aren't allowed to do a lot of things. And here you are doling out drugs to people.
Well, yeah, I've done much more than that, I guess. I mean, as a woman from the Middle East, I've done a lot of cool things. I've traveled all over the world. I was like a strong, independent woman for, 10 years. I mean, still am, but like, I traveled I left the country when I was 25 years old, and I went to this new job I was offered in a really cool hospital in Qatar. So yeah, that's something that even women here don't really do. I don't know.
Okay, so
but yeah, I feel like I've done a lot of things.
Being a woman did not hinder you
No,
in the Middle East.
It did not.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Because as you might know, most Americans are like me. We want to be educated, but rarely are we.
Yeah, but then again, at the end of the day, what I learned from my travels and like meeting a lot of people in general, that people are people. So in the States or Canada or Europe or the Middle East or Africa, there are going to be societies who are really, really conservative, and there will be others who are, we think of them as, just like in the middle there, and then there will be those who are really liberal. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, this whole how conservative you are or how liberal you are is very subjective.
Right.
Because you're comparing it to yourself.
Well, let's just talk about freedoms, especially between Egypt, Qatar, and the U.S. Where did you feel any restrictions to do stuff in Egypt or Qatar?
No, not at all.
You can drink in both places?
I don't drink personally, but I can if I want to. Mm-hmm. In Qatar, it's a Islamic country in origin, so you can't drink everywhere. You cannot drink like in public places. For example, you can't drink on the street. Mm-hmm. For example,
Well, you can't here either.
I mean, yeah. So it's very similar to what here is. But then you can drink in hotels. You can drink in certain places. There are some, maybe not so many restrictions in Egypt, but there are some restrictions in Egypt about drinking. Especially, we have a holy month of Ramadan. So that's the month where everybody fasts, and it's a very holistic and spiritual kind of month. And I'm not really sure, but I think there are some restrictions about alcohol during that time, mm-hmm. because, we don't, the management, they don't want to serve alcohol at that time of the year. And,
and everybody's just trying to be holy.
Everybody's just trying to be good, I guess. That's what I learned.
No shame in that.
People are just trying to be good people.
Yeah.
I guess.
Marijuana
is illegal in both countries.
And do you, because it was illegal here for most of...
Forever. It's just
for a while.
It started. I was in Colorado in 2014 when it was just started to be legal.
Yeah.
And I learned that a lot of people were moving to Colorado because it was legal at the time. So yeah.
But even before 2014, you could smell it.
You could smell it. You could see it. in the street.
In Egypt and Qatar, could you
So
also?
Egypt, you can definitely see it, smell it
Really?
in a lot of places. It's just that you can't transport it. You can't sell,
Yeah.
people. And then it's not marijuana in Egypt. It's called hashish.
Oh.
It's very similar to what's in India too. I think they have that hashish as well.
Oh, we know a little bit about hashish.
So yeah, so that's what we have. We have hashish, and we have kind of different grades of hashish. There's like other forms, bungo, whatever.
Look at you, Sarah.
But then yeah, I mean I know about this stuff. So
Okay, what about gay and lesbians? Could you kiss a girl
that
in the middle of the
is-
street
no,
in
this,
Egypt?
This is very frowned upon in the Middle East.
All over.
In the middle, yes, all over.
Okay.
I mean, we've had people who identify as gay or lesbian, but then there is the societal pressure. It's like being in the States maybe 50, 100 years ago, something like that.
So when people do it, they have to be quiet about it, secretive.
They have to be, yes.
That's hard.
They can't express themselves, stuff like that. But yeah, it's definitely frowned upon because it's very, I guess it's we're very still tied to religion and what religion says is right or not right. And then, yeah, it's a very
Which is this?
flammable topic.
Is this the Quran that we're talking about in Egypt and Qatar?
So Egypt is not an Islamic country per se. So it's we have a kind of a 50-50 or 60-40 of Muslims and Christians. We have
Okay.
Coptic Christians, which is a very big population in Egypt. But then
Coptic Christians?
Coptic, yeah.
Okay.
They are a different kind of Christian. So we have Catholics, Protestants, but we also have Coptic Christians, and they celebrate Christmas on a different day. So here you celebrate Christmas on 25th of December. In Egypt is mostly 7th of January.
Oh.
It's a national holiday. That is when our Christmas.
Okay.
So it's a little bit different, and I think that's how they identify themselves as different. And in some of their prayers, they speak a different language, which we learned that it's the hieroglyphic language.
Oh.
In some of the churches in Egypt, so it's a little bit different.
I guess I've seen those symbols. I guess I just never thought you could.
I think some people still speak it, but then we also have some traces of the hieroglyphic language in our everyday language. Some of these words, when we trace them back, they don't trace back to Arabic, and it traces back to ancient Egyptian.
Wow. Okay, so let's stick with Egypt for just a second.
Okay,
And we'll shift gears to Qatar because Qatar's hosting the
very
World Cup.
controversial right now.
It's
Yeah,
a little controversial. You probably know more about it than I do. I always try to look at the sunny side of life.
it's a beautiful country. I mean, it's one of the best places I've lived in.
Really?
It's one of the best healthcare systems I have ever seen. And I did not come across a healthcare system here in the U.S. that has wowed me it is a wonderful healthcare
Okay,
system.
fine.
So,
We're
yeah.
talking about Qatar.
So we'll talk about Qatar. But
Okay,
yeah, I mean,
so-
you could
so
talk about Egypt a little bit.
when
It's
you-
still my home country, but yeah.
I think everyone agrees that the U.S. healthcare system is kind of bipolar in that we invent amazing things.
Yeah.
We have great technology. A lot of the healthcare professionals can get very rich off of stuff.
Okay.
The richest man in L.A. is a guy that created some healthcare stuff. And yet, your average American often has a hard time getting medical treatment.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of a divide just because of the insurance system, which is a little bit different if you compare it to Europe or probably Qatar, actually.
Yeah.
So in Qatar, I used to pay $30 a year, and you would get free care if you're in an emergency case. You get completely free care for 3 days. It doesn't matter, even if you go to the ICU, put on the ventilator. It doesn't matter. But then you would also pay 20% of what the medication actually costs It is all under that $30 a year healthcare plan. So it's pretty amazing and it's pretty cheap. And they bring in some of the best practitioners and doctors and pharmacists and nurses in the
Now,
world.
do they supplement this by taxing the people really high?
It's a tax-free country.
Wait a second.
So I never paid any taxes in Qatar. I never paid rent in Qatar either, because my job they provide you with, I had a furnished apartment. That was just part of my.
Was it as nice as this one here in Ktown?
This one is smaller for sure, because this is a studio.
So you had a bigger place in
I
Qatar.
had a 2-bedroom, 3-bathroom apartment in Qatar.
Why did you have 3 bathrooms?
I have no idea.
Maybe one for visitors.
That was the deal. I mean, the one for visitors, one for the extra guest room, and one for me.
Were you living alone?
Yeah. It was fun. I liked it. I had guests. It was good.
Did you use all 3 bathrooms?
When I had to, yeah. When my original bathroom is not working, yeah.
Okay, so how does Qatar pull this off? And what can America learn from all of this?
Well, Qatar has a lot of money.
We do too.
And it's a very small country with a very small population too. So the number of Qataris, I think, is estimated to be about 400,000. These are the original ones.
Okay.
But then there are about 2 million who are expats.
From other countries that Qatar imports in?
Yeah, so basically someone like me, or someone who works in the supermarket, or someone who, so yeah, it's a pretty small country with a lot of resources.
Are the native Qatarans, are they super rich, all
Qataris,
of them?
yeah.
Qataris?
Yes, so the below average is probably higher than the average American, you can say that.
Okay.
And then I also learned that salaries are a lot higher there than compared to here.
Okay, can you tell us how much you made as a pharmacist at this beautiful hospital?
About 120.
And how much does a pharmacist in the U.S. make?
I guess about the same or less.
They do?
And then I know that faculty members do less than that too, I think. So yeah.
But you weren't paying rent.
And
you weren't being taxed.
I was not taxed.
So what did you do with all this money?
Travel.
Good for you.
But then the other thing I also, and that's one of the things I really like Qatar for, I was able to pay for my PharmD degree. So I already had a bachelor's in pharmacy. I did a PharmD at the University of Colorado. And that kind of income really helped me kind of pay for it without being, burdened by the cost of education, I guess.
Is Qatar beautiful?
It's amazing.
Really?
It's one of the most beautiful countries. Definitely Egypt is absolutely amazing. You can't compare it to anything else.
You're confusing.
But Qatar is really beautiful. And I remember I used to go every Friday, because our weekend is on Friday or Saturday. So Friday morning we had a dragon boat. We used to go dragon boat paddling in the Gulf. And this was my Zen moment. This is what I really liked. It really washed out all my stress.
This is the Persian Gulf we're talking about?
It's the Persian, or they call it the Arab Gulf too, because it's on.
Okay.
So it's Persian on Iran side, is Arab on the on the Gulf
same water.
Side. Yeah, same water, same Gulf, but then different names, I guess. But yeah, we used to go for an hour inside the water, and it's beautiful. It has beautiful skyline. Yeah.
So it's kind of like the Echo Park swan boats, except these are dragons. You're giving me a blank stare. Have you never paddled?
I have never. I don't think I've seen the ones at Echo Park. No, I don't think I've seen those.
It's fine.
It's a Chinese sport. It's a very long boat that has about 20 people in it, and we have to all paddle at the same.
So all these strangers are paddling together.
Well, we kind of know each other. We're like a team afterwards, and then we race. We race together, so we're kind of we become friends. It's not like we're all don't just go paddle, don't talk to each other, go home. No.
Okay, so again, when I think of the Middle East, all I think about is sand.
Oh no, you can't be more wrong.
How should I think?
You should think of, I mean, there's definitely a lot of sand because there's desert in the
Okay.
middle, and there's desert in Egypt. You didn't think about that. But then there's also, so there's the sea. And in Qatar, there is a place in the north called Purple Island where it's all green and it's a little bit muddy, the water, and trees grow from inside that water. So there's trees inside those grooves. And then you paddle through the kayak through that if you want. Well, paddling you can't because the boat's too big. So
Yeah.
kayaking probably maybe. But then there's also a place in Oman called Salalah, which looks like the Maldives or Switzerland.
Wow.
You'll be like in the middle of green mountains and waterfalls and lakes, and so it's not all like that. And I know, for example, for Egypt, all pictures of Egypt are just like the pyramids in the sand. But
Yeah.
if you actually go to the pyramids and you look the other way, you'll find, a huge city, and we have a very big river that crosses the whole country from north to south. And we have two seas, so the Northern Sea, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Red Sea, which is also filled with like corals, and there's a lot of scuba diving there. And that's also true for Saudi Arabia on the other side of that sea. They also have similar activities because it's kind of the same nature in the Red Sea. And there are a lot of green areas in Saudi Arabia as well. So there are desert places, but there are other places where there are mountains and snow and greenery and stuff like that. So
So Americans, Tonys, need to stop thinking that
it's sand.
all of the Middle East looks like our books,
Yeah.
our Bible books about Moses.
Probably.
and,
Yeah, probably.
it's all wrong.
And if you go to Fayoum, where actually Joseph lived in Egypt, there's a huge lake, and
We're talking about the Joseph who, from of the 12 tribes.
Yes.
The guy with the magic coat.
yep, that's the one, because he had the magic coat in ancient Egypt actually at that
Oh,
time.
really?
So he lived in Fayoum, which is a little bit west of Cairo. And Moses lived on the west side of the Nile River. Wow. Too.
Are there statues of Moses and Joseph out there?
There are not. So
I should make a statue and gift it to our friends in Egypt?
well, we just know that they're there, and they have places named after them.
Okay.
In this area too, and
But not towns. There's no Mosesville.
no, not really.
Are there roads named after these guys? I mean, these are pretty famous people.
I mean, we have a lot of roads. I don't know if I have like enumerated all the. I don't know. I have no
okay.
idea.
It sounds like I need to go over there and fix
I mean,
things.
I think Egypt it's a very nice destination to go to. I do a lot of indoor tourism inside Egypt, and I enjoy it a lot. So
Okay, let's talk about these pyramids of yours for
Okay.
a second. So you were born in Egypt.
yeah,
What town? Mosesville?
Cairo. No,
Cairo.
just Cairo.
Okay. You're born in Cairo. Is Cairo the biggest city? Is that
It is.
Is that the capital?
It's the capital. Yeah.
Are there skyscrapers in Cairo? Are there big, tall buildings?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Huh. I honestly know nothing about
I think there
this
are buildings,
place.
and it's just next to my house where there maybe 40, 50 floors.
How's the internet?
Oh, good. It's good. It's good.
Good.
It wasn't great 5 years ago, but
Somebody fixed it.
It's a lot better now.
Okay.
You have to pay more to get
Well.
it. There's corruption.
I'm paying $100 in the United States.
Oh, we're definitely paying a lot less than that. But yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Egypt is a lot cheaper.
Oh, yeah.
Then
How
here.
much is like a one-bedroom apartment in Cairo?
For rent,
Yeah.
let me.
Well, so like here, it's probably like $1,800 in LA.
Oh, you'll be shocked. It's about $200.
No.
Yeah, and it really depends on where you live. So that's kind of like more of a fancy place.
A $200 one is a fancy place?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
500 is really fancy.
I'm not giving away where you live. We're just saying that you live in a nice apartment in Koreatown.
Yeah.
And I would say this is fancy.
This is fancy.
Okay. This would cost $500 in Cairo?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah. Egypt is cheap.
What's keeping me in LA? What's bad about Cairo? Let's go there. Is it hot?
Well, the weather in Cairo is very similar to LA. You'll be surprised, actually.
Pleasantly surprised. I love the weather here.
Yeah, I mean, it's really nice. It gets about this cold in Egypt, too.
Good.
And the heat is about the same. Sometimes it goes a little hotter than LA.
Can you swim in the Nile?
It is not recommended.
It's dirty.
Because it's filled with, like, organisms and sea life and all these things. It's not like the sea. So you can't really... And then the other thing with the Nile, you'll drown because the Nile has... It's fresh water. It has a higher or lower density. No, it's higher or lower. I think it's a higher density. So it's more likely that you'll sink. You're not going to be able to swim in the River Nile.
Okay, I won't be doing any of that.
So no, probably not a good idea.
And so I guess there's no dragon boats out there either.
There's kayaking for sure. There's dragon boat.
Oh.
You can do all of these things, but then you definitely have to, just like, any other place, you have to wear your life jacket, make sure you're safe, all that stuff.
I still might just watch. Sounds very dangerous.
Well, I've been kayaking in the Nile River, and
You
it
have?
was amazing. Oh, I've done a lot of things.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, it was really amazing.
Have you been in one of these pyramids?
Of course.
Okay. The people who I've talked to who have seen the pyramids
Okay.
cannot believe that humans way back then made them.
Okay.
And as a black man, I say black people can do whatever we want.
Well, I feel the same way about Egyptian people. I think Egyptians can do whatever they want, and I know that until this day there are things in Egypt that are very hard to explain. For example, one of the kings of Egypt has a statue, right? And then the sun will shine on his face the day he was born and the day he became king. Only until this day, it will only shine directly on his face on those 2 days, and we have no idea how they did it. So it wouldn't surprise me that they had the technology or the skills or the engineering intelligence to build such a great structure in a short time.
Some people say it's got to be UFOs. It's got to be aliens. Do people in Egypt say that?
No. We know it was built by Egyptians, and it's actually one of our sources of pride. Because
of course.
We don't just see the pyramids, you also see all the crafts and the architecture and the obelisks, and we have a huge, and not just the pyramids, there's a huge temple in Luxor, south of Egypt, which is absolutely huge. I have no idea how they built that. That's the other thing that, it's not just the pyramids. So we feel like it's pretty normal that the Egyptians did this. We kind of see all these other things, and
But then it seems like that technology peaked way back then.
yeah.
Like, shouldn't it have turned into like spaceships and like more technology, like newer stuff? Like for some reason, it just stopped developing.
Well, I think one of the reasons is that, civilizations, when they reach a peak, they start declining because people start becoming lazy. Mm-hmm. And it was also political, where Rome took over and, people didn't care anymore.
Those Italians.
So I think, I'm not blaming the Italians. They're my friends. So
some of my best friends are Italian.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, I don't think it's the Italians, but it's just that, I don't know, political.
Okay, so let's switch gears to Koreatown.
Okay.
You are now in Koreatown.
Yeah.
Which I laugh because when we talk about these amazing cities and countries that you've lived in the Middle East, Koreatown doesn't seem that amazing in comparison. But maybe we're not giving Koreatown enough love.
You're not giving. I mean, I love Koreatown.
Tell me what you love.
I wouldn't move from. First of all, I am new to LA, so I'm discovering all these places, and I want something close to where I work. So if I went to, let's say, live in Santa Monica, I'll be really far away
Yeah.
from where I have to commute every day. So this is very convenient.
Because you work
Near downtown.
Okay.
Yeah. When I was in Colorado, Denver, I was like, okay, downtown is a nice area. So the first place I looked in LA is downtown. And it's a little bit loud for me. So I wanted to go somewhere that's not too crowded.
Did the homeless people bother you?
There was a lot of homeless people at the time where I was looking for an apartment. And because I'm living on my own, I didn't feel very safe. What if I needed to go out in the evening or come out and, I wanted to feel a little bit, more secure, I guess. So Koreatown gave me that downtown type of environment. And at the same time, I like that everything is around me. Yeah. Everything is actually a walking distance. There's a coffee shop walking distance. There's a hotel that's a walking distance. There's a grocery shop. There's everything is just a walking distance. Really beautiful. I have a nice view of the hills, and it's nice. I really like it.
Have you been around Asian people like this before? Because there's a lot of Asian people.
Well, I've been to Korea, actually.
What?
Yeah, I've been to South Korea.
Sara, you have been around the block.
I have been around a lot. I've traveled to a lot of countries. Yeah, I've been to South Korea. I think it was back in 2005.
Okay.
Yeah, and I had a lot of fun in South Korea. It was really nice.
Huh.
So yeah, I mean, it felt a little bit unusual that I'll find like billboards only in Korean and there's no English there. It was a little bit unusual.
Here in Koreatown.
Yeah. And then I'm like, what is this place?
Do you take the subways or the buses?
I take the metro. Yeah. So the metro is very close to my home. Actually, I walk for like 2 minutes and there's the metro station, which is very convenient.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah. I take the metro. So yeah, I mean, I like the metro because it's fast and reliable, unlike the bus, to be honest.
Yeah.
The bus is a little bit unreliable.
So you would recommend to beautiful young women like yourself who are new to LA,
Yeah.
if you want that urban city experience,
Which is also like really affordable compared to its equivalent in downtown or, Culver City or Glendale. This is pretty affordable, especially if you're studying, if you're a student, or you're doing a training program like myself. So stuff like that. So yeah.
what are you training for?
So I was a pharmacist back in Qatar. We know that, but I'm training in basically how to teach, I guess, and how to do research. So that's kind of
In the drug world, in the pharmacy world?
in the pharmacy world, and yeah.
Can I ask you about marijuana?
Yeah, of course.
I think it's a underused drug. What do you think, pharmacy person?
Well, I think it's definitely more effective. I think can be used for a lot of indications as long as it's controlled and we know exactly which component are we using and we're not using a combination of things. And I've personally seen a lot of side effects from marijuana, which I had a patient once who was heavily hallucinating and, complaining about that. And I'm like, okay. And I was like, and he's like, it's some of the medications. I'm like, okay, I need to screen all his medication. I'm like, you know what? I think it's the marijuana. I don't think it's any of your medications. And he refused to stop it. But yeah, I mean,
Doc, it hurts when I do this. Stop doing that.
No, I'm not. And I've seen experiences like I've had people tell me their experience with pain management. There were cases where seizures would only be controlled with some of the marijuana components, stuff like that. So yes, it can be used, but it has to be studied very carefully.
This patient of yours who was hallucinating, were they eating it or smoking it?
They were putting it as oil.
I think that's the problem.
Is it really?
Yeah, honestly, I personally, I've only had bad experiences when I've eaten it or whatever.
Okay.
And I think it's because the hippies in the 60s kind of taught us how to do it. And they almost all smoked it.
Yeah.
And when you ingest it, as you know, as a scientist, it hits different, as they say. And so Dr. Tony would recommend that he just smokes it.
It's probably more potent if you ingest it. I haven't had the chance to really study this.
Yeah.
I'm not answering this as a medical expert, I don't think, so that people don't take my word for granted. But yeah, I mean, it really depends on which component you're using and how are you using it.
Let's switch gears over to Qatar.
Okay.
Right now, the World Cup is in Qatar.
Yeah.
And there has been a lot of controversy because they have imported, as you politely call expats, people who aren't from there, to build these stadiums. And some of these stadiums had to be built in like excessive heat, like crazy high heat.
Yeah.
And the other problem was it's not really a great place to play soccer.
Well, it is a beautiful country.
Okay.
It's not a great place to play soccer in summer. That will be absolutely crazy.
And that's why they're playing it now.
That's why they have it in November. Because now the weather in Qatar is better than LA. It's summer. It's like LA in spring.
It's perfect.
It's perfect.
Okay.
You can go swimming, you can go out, you can wear a t-shirt, you don't have to, it's not cold. It's just nice.
Can women go to the beach in a bikini in Qatar?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it's a modern so the religious stuff that we hear about other Middle Eastern countries isn't really true in Qatar.
It's probably true in places like Saudi Arabia and Iran and it's not even the case anymore in Saudi Arabia. I don't know a lot about Iran. I know that there's conflict right now. But Saudi Arabia used to be extremely conservative. And in my opinion, it was more political rather than religious. We did have a similar experience in Egypt where people were trying to control other people using religion as an umbrella.
We've had some of that issue here too.
To gain power. It's everywhere.
It's crazy.
It happened in Europe. It happened in the church in Europe. It's just amazing how these people who claim to be people of God or people of religion just try to, become gods themselves. They're really, really narcissistic. They want to, and they used to, just like those in other countries that are really more conservative, they would be hitting women in the street because she showed her face or. We've had instances like that, and this is kind of similar to what's happening in countries with conflict. And it's not about religion, and this is what really hurts my heart a little bit, that it's not God who said that. It's these stupid people who are making these stupid rules just to gain power over people. But then usually these countries are definitely more conservative compared to the U.S. probably.
Am I saying the country wrong? Should I be saying Qatar?
Qatar. Yeah.
Qatar, not Qatar.
Not Qatar.
All right.
Qatar.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. We were used to it.
All of my Qatar fans out there, major apologies. Like I say, I'm learning. So you would have this World Cup there?
Oh, absolutely. I think people are having, my friends are there. And my family's there, and they're having the time of their lives. There are parties everywhere, and there's like events, and of course all the matches, and they have all these artists coming from all over the world, all these actors and DJs, and it's amazing. They're really doing very, very well. And I'm just surprised how the media is bombarding Qatar because of, they're zooming in on some of the problems that the country was having. And I know that Qatar is a very hot country, but I know because I have engineer friends in Qatar where we know for sure. So they start work really early, about 4 o'clock in the morning, and they will stop working at 11. That's when it gets really hot. That's where the peak is. You can't work in these conditions. They stop working. And then they continue to work in the evening. Some of their work, sometimes I have my one of my friends, her husband is an engineer, and his shift is a night shift because this is the only time they're going to work. So I'm not sure why. I mean, every country has its problems. Every country has corruption of some sort or things that are done that are not in compliance with human rights. Maybe discrimination too. I've seen that. You can find that in every country around the world,
Including this one.
including this one. So, and I lived in Qatar for 10 years. I've never been discriminated against. I worked with a lot of Qatari people a lot of them are really my good friends, and I've never been discriminated against in this country. All the time I've lived there, I've been discriminated against in this country.
Really?
But then,
Tell me how.
Because I look different, and people would ask me questions or tell me well, you shouldn't be here or whatever it is. But then, these things are in all the countries.
Yeah.
But then, why is it so weird that a country so Qatar, everybody was against that Qatar holds the World Cup. They're like, well, they didn't build any of the stadiums. They're not ready. Well, they're ready now. They've built all these stadiums. They've built a whole city. They spent $300 billion on being prepared for the FIFA. And I'm not sure everything in the media, especially here, is just against Qatar holding the World Cup. Russia held the World Cup. Nobody said anything about that. I don't know. It's a question mark for me.
So do you think that it's just the overall Middle East bias that some people in the West have?
I think it's because, these Muslim Arab people are holding the World Cup. They shouldn't. They don't deserve it.
That the critics want these World Cups to be held in
France or Germany or
South America.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. But not in a Muslim Arab country. I think it's more the idea.
Are you religious?
Yes. Yeah.
What religion do you practice?
I'm Muslim.
Muslim?
Yeah.
Okay. So are you able to... Is it a Muslim temple that you would go to?
A mosque.
A mosque. Is there a mosque in Koreatown?
There's a mosque nearby here. It's a 15-minute walk from where I live.
15?
15.
Do you go there often?
I mean, I haven't. I know it's there, but I haven't been yet. So, yeah.
I think you're like most young people.
Yeah.
I'm not young. But I would say most, even Americans, don't go to church as much as they feel like they should.
Yeah, but I pray at home. And, I do the things that I do at home, so.
Are the Muslims the people that pray several times in a day?
Yeah, 5 times.
5 times a day. Are you one of those people?
Yeah.
And you aim your is it a little carpet? What is it?
So it's a little carpet that points to Al-Kaaba, which is located in Saudi Arabia. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where and then wherever you go, you use a compass to just kind of understand where you should be.
Is it the east?
Where you should look.
It the west? Where is it?
So when you're in the United States, because the earth is round, right? Mm-hmm. You kind of face yourself a little bit to the north. Oh. Really? So that you go around.
So I'm pointing this way. I'm pointing towards the valley. So towards the Hollywood sign. And I pray towards the Hollywood sign.
I do actually pray towards the Hollywood sign. And I can show you, I can actually...
Well, you can't show us because this is a podcast. So
Not the podcast, but I can... wait a minute.
You aim your carpet towards the Hollywood sign. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's towards the Hollywood sign.
I love that.
Which is what I see from my home, so it's nice. I aim it towards the hills. Yeah.
Because you were so close to Saudi Arabia, did you ever make a pilgrimage to Mecca?
I unfortunately I haven't.
Is this something that women are allowed to do too?
Of course, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I honestly have no idea.
I didn't expect that kind of question, but yeah, of course.
But is this something that you want to do?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In your travels?
Yeah. I mean, I've always wanted to do it, but then there was, these political issues. We were not able to get there and stuff like that. But then, I would like to do that one day. I think it would be really nice.
Okay, so let's wrap it up with LA in general.
Okay.
What do you like the most of LA from being here for a very short period of time?
LA reminds me a lot of Egypt, actually. I love, well, first of all, I really like the weather here. It's nice.
Yeah.
I would rather be in a warm weather than a cold one.
Yeah.
And I like how there are so many things to do in this city. Like, you can go to the beach, you can go to the mountains, you can go hiking, you can do anything, really. There's so much things to do and so many places to go to and a lot of good restaurants and, yeah, that's I'm like a kind of, outdoor person. I like to go out and do things and just like see new things, and you can see new things all the time. Mm-hmm. So I think it's pretty great. Yeah.
So that's different than living in Cairo. In Cairo, there's fewer options.
No, in Cairo there are. Well, Egypt definitely has. I'm just saying that LA reminds me of Egypt. That
right.
Egypt has so many options, so many things to do. You can go to the 2 hours you're at the beach, 2 hours you're in the desert, 2 hours you're in the other sea or whatever. So you can do a lot of things and see a lot of new things and have a lot of activities.
What has been your favorite restaurant to go to in LA?
There is a very nice restaurant in West Hollywood. It's called Super Ball.
It's called what?
Super Ball.
Super Bell?
Super Ball.
Super Ball.
Super Ball.
Superba.
Superba? Okay. So my French friends call it Super Ball.
Maybe that's how you say it.
Superba, is it?
I say Superba. There's
Okay.
one in Venice too.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because that was where they filmed the movie. Was it Casablanca or something? It has a historic kind of, and then I like the ambiance of it. It has nice food, and yeah, it's really nice. I like it a lot.
Okay, now let's shift gears to Koreatown.
Mm-hmm.
What's been your favorite restaurant in Koreatown to eat at?
I don't know its name, but I've been to this Korean barbecue place. My friends know it because I go with those friends.
Yeah.
But then they bring you this like a beef stew and they burn it, on the table with all this cheese and stuff. It's really nice.
Okay, so
Yeah, I like Korean barbecue. It's really nice.
I love it. All right, anything you want to say to the listeners about the next time that they run past a lovely Middle Eastern person?
Yeah, say hello. We're friendly. We don't bite.
Is there an Egyptian greeting that we can learn?
Oh my God.
Do you guys say shalom? I guess that's Jewish.
That's Israel. That's Jewish. That's
So-
Hebrew.
Okay.
So we don't speak Hebrew. We speak Arabic. So in Turkey and like you can say marhaba.
Marhaba.
Marhaba is not Egyptian per se. It's kind of more Arabic to say, hey, how are you, or hello.
Marhaba
Or-
is what's up.
What's up, man? Yeah, that's it.
I love it.
Yeah.
How would I say thank you if I was in Qatar?
It's all the same. In Egypt too, you can say shukran.
Shukran.
Yeah.
Shukran. There, Sarah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for spending some time with us today.
Thank you.
And
My pleasure.
We'll see you on the red line.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
How great was Sarah? You know who we'd let sleep in our spare room in our free apartment in Qatar? Our Patreons. When you stoke us, you're saying, Tony, Jordan, money is the root of all evil. Enjoy the evil. So shout out to our Patreons, Nancy Rommelman, Sean Atlow, Matt Mills, Sean Wallace, Greg and Molly, Jamie Taylor, Mark Johnson, Kira Ann, who just had a birthday, Barney Grinke, Ben Welsh, Jen Adams, Trevor Wilson, Bree Wild, Dougie Gyro, Christina Up North, Robin Carey, Adam Shorn, and Ben from Down Under. We even run ads on our blog over at Here in LA. Go and see what it looks like. So thank you, generous advertisers. For those of you who'd like to be Patreons or advertisers, just go to patreon.com/hereinla and give till it hurts. We're also on the lookout for cool guests, as always. If you know someone who lives in a neighborhood in LA, not a city, but has a story to tell, like Sara, have them write us at busblog@gmail.com. Also, shout out to our Angelinos. To be an Angelino, just PayPal or Venmo, $25 or more, and we will list you in that beautiful Here in LA website or Medium blog forever. Just send your hard-earned cash to busblog@gmail.com. Want to support us, but you bet a ton that the U.S. would beat the Dutch? Whew, you can still help. Post your favorite episode on your Facebook. Post two. While Twitter's still alive, tweet something nice about us. You know, this is actually a very good time to start tweeting nice things about us because we really don't know how long Twitter lasts. So, tweet out this episode and maybe your favorite one that we've done this year. I think we did like 40 plus episodes this year. Just tell your friends you liked one of them. Tell them how Here in LA is spelled, and it's on Apple Podcasts and Google and even Spotify. Here in LA is produced by myself, Tony Pierce, and a man who also wears whatever the hell he wants at the beach, Jordan Katz. Editing, mixing, and music supervision by Jordan Katz. Songs by Orgone and Jordan Katz. Special thanks to Cindy for creating the logo, Jen for inspiring this, and World Travelers who sit in front of me and answer all my first grade questions without judging me one bit, at least not publicly.
Happy holidays!